We've all been hearing about a deadly disease called coronavirus that's been wreaking havoc around the world. But did you know that, according to the Prophet Muhammad, most of what you've been hearing is fake news? Nearly 14 centuries ago, the Prophet Muhammad, MD, the greatest medical doctor in history until Zakir Naik came along, declared that there's no such thing as a contagious disease. If you get a disease, it's because you are going to get the disease no matter what, not because you came into contact with someone who already had the disease. If you don't believe Muhammad, you must be an Islamophobe who's jealous because Islam is spreading so rapidly. And as everyone knows, if something is spreading rapidly, it must be good. Sahih Muslim 55:13. Abu Huraira reported Allah's messenger as saying, "There is no transitive disease, no humma," that's a typo, it should be hama. There are a lot of typos in this section of Sahih Muslim. "No star promising rain, no safar." Now, what does Muhammad mean here when he says that there is no transitive disease? Well, as we're going to see, he's referring to what we call contagious disease. According to Muhammad, there's no such thing as a contagious disease. But let's keep reading so we can be sure that Muhammad actually said this. Sahih Muslim 55:14. Jabir reported Allah's... Allah? What sort of pagan god is Allah? Jabir reported Allah's messenger as saying, "There is no transitive disease, no ill omen, no ghul." Sahih Muslim 55:21. Abu Huraira reported Allah's messenger as saying, "There is no transitive disease, no divination, but I like good words," not to mention 9-year-old girls. Sahih Muslim 55:20. Anas bin Malik reported Allah's messenger as saying, "There is no transitive disease, no divination, but good omen pleases me." It was said, "What is good omen?" He said, "Sacred words." Sahih Muslim 55:24. Abdullah ibn Umar reported Allah's messenger as saying, "There is no transitive disease, no ill omen, and bad luck is lound," that's a typo, should be found. "Bad luck is found in the house or wife or horse." Bad luck is found in houses, wives, and horses. All right, now watch what happens here, because a random Arab from the desert is going to prove that he knows more about disease than Dr. Muhammad, who was receiving revelations from Allah. Sahih Muslim 55:07. Abu Huraira reported Allah's messenger as saying, "There is no infection, no safar, no hama." A desert Arab said, "Allah's messenger, how is it that when the camel is in the sand, it is like a deer? Then a camel afflicted with scab mixes with it and is affected by the sub." That's a typo, should be scab. They're talking about mange. He, the Holy Prophet, said, "Who infected the first one?" Think about this. Muhammad says there's no such thing as a transitive disease, a contagious disease. A desert Arab, not a prophet, not a doctor, but a man who's seen diseases spread among animals, asks, well, why is it that I can have a healthy camel running around like a deer, but then a scabby camel comes near my healthy camel, and all of a sudden, my healthy camel starts breaking out in scabs? The correct answer is that mange is caused by parasitic mites, and these parasitic mites can be transferred from one camel to another. But when a desert Arab points out that healthy camels are infected with mange when they come into contact with an already infected camel, Muhammad replies, "Then who infected the first one?" Notice Muhammad's reasoning here. You claim that camels get mange from other infected camels. If that's true, then the first camel that had mange couldn't have gotten it because there were no other camels with mange. But since the first camel with mange didn't contract mange from contact with another infected camel, no camel ever contracts mange from another infected camel. No wonder Prophet Muhammad, MD, was the greatest medical doctor in history before Zakir Naik. But apparently, even the great medical Dr. Muhammad himself was eventually convinced that it's a bad idea to let sick animals near healthy animals. So he began telling his followers that even though there's no contagious disease, they should keep sick and healthy animals separate anyway. Sahih Muslim 55:11. Abu Huraira reported Allah's Messenger as saying, "There is no transitive disease." And he also reported, along with it, the ill should not be taken to the healthy. Muhammad passed on to his followers some apparently conflicting words of wisdom. On the one hand, he said that there's no such thing as a contagious disease. On the other hand, he warned his followers not to bring sick animals or people near healthy animals or people. Muhammad didn't see the inconsistency, but his followers did. Watch what happens. Sahih Muslim 55:10. Abu Salama ibn Abdul Rahman ibn Auf reported Allah's Messenger as saying, "There is no transitive disease," but he is also reported to have said, "A sick person should not be taken to one who is healthy." Abu Salama said that Abu Huraira used to narrate these two different ahadith from Allah's Messenger, but afterwards Abu Huraira became silent on these words, "There is no transitive disease." But he stuck to this, that the sick person should not be taken to one who is healthy. Harith ibn Abu Dubab, and he was the first cousin of Abu Huraira, said, "Abu Huraira, I used to hear from you that you narrated to us, along with this hadith and the other one also, there is no transitive disease. But now you observe silence about it. You used to say that Allah's Messenger said, there is no transitive disease." Abu Huraira denied having any knowledge of that, but he said that the sick camel should not be taken to the healthy one. Harith, however, did not agree with him, which irritated Abu Huraira, and he said to him some words in the Abyssinian language. He said to Harith, "Do you know what I said to you?" He said, "No." Abu Huraira said, "I simply denied having said it." Abu Salama said, should be said, "By my life, Abu Huraira in fact used to report Allah's Messenger having said, there is no transitive disease." I do not know whether Abu Huraira has forgotten it or he deemed it an abrogated statement in the light of the other one. This is huge. Muhammad told his followers that there's no such thing as a contagious disease. There had to be a first animal that spontaneously got the disease, so obviously all the other animals who got the disease got it spontaneously as well. But Muhammad, after being told repeatedly that healthy animals tend to magically get diseases when they're around sick animals, reluctantly ordered his followers to keep sick animals away from healthy animals. Since Muhammad shared both of these teachings with his followers continued sharing them. In the passages we looked at, we saw Muhammad's claim that there's no such thing as a contagious disease reported by Ibn Umar, Jabir, Anas bin Malik, and of course Abu Huraira. Abu Huraira spent years sharing both teachings. But eventually he stopped quoting Muhammad's claim that there are no contagious diseases. We have numerous hadiths with Abu Huraira reporting that Muhammad made this claim. But Abu Huraira stopped reporting it. His first cousin asked him about this. His cousin said, "Why did you stop quoting Muhammad's claim that there's no such thing as a contagious disease?" And Abu Huraira replied, "I have no idea what you're talking about. I never said that." What happened here? Two things obviously happened. One, Abu Huraira recognized that it's inconsistent of Muhammad to claim that there's no such thing as a contagious disease, only to turn around and claim later that sick animals need to be separated from healthy animals. Abu Huraira saw the inconsistency. Two, Abu Huraira realized that Muhammad was wrong. He knew from decades of experience that there are diseases that spread from one person to another or from one animal to another. He knew that his prophet was wrong. So he did what any faithful companion of Muhammad would do. He lied. He lied about it. Wrong, I never said that. This means, of course, that Muhammad's companions were deliberately forgetting things he said once they realized that he was spouting complete nonsense. In case you're wondering why they didn't abandon Islam when they figured out that Muhammad was making things up, I suggest you look up Muhammad's teachings about apostasy and what would have happened to someone like Abu Huraira if he had renounced Islam. What does this have to do with us? Well, various doctors are telling us that the coronavirus is spreading from person to person. But this makes no sense, according to Prophet Muhammad, MD, the only medical doctor besides Zakir Naik whose opinion actually matters. Because the first person who was infected clearly didn't get it from another person. Therefore, no one catches coronavirus from another person. So, most of what you've been hearing from journalists is fake news. With that said, keep people with coronavirus away from people who don't have coronavirus anyway. After all, it's not like Muhammad has ever been the king of consistency. Pretty sad, though, when a prophet gives two competing claims, and if his followers obey the wrong one, millions of people could die. Coronavirus meet coronavirus.